Hey, what's good, my people? What's good? And that boy they call Big Tone, one half of the Chronic OGs podcast. Hey, so I'm gonna talk about this, and I'm sure Smitty and I are gonna talk about it on the next episode. We're gonna be filming sometime today, but I'm gonna throw this out there right now. Um, it is official. So for a little bit of context, um, I've literally, true story, been a Lakers fan since '79. 1979 is how long I've been a Lakers fan. I was 8 years old. My dad was a Larry Bird fan. Take that back. My dad was a Larry Bird fan because he was a Celtics fan. So that's how the me becoming a Lakerologist started. So a little bit of context. Anybody that know me will tell you I've been a Laker fan through and through. I could take you upstairs to my third floor where my pool table and my man cave is. Ain't nothing but Lakers shit up there. Nothing. Lakers shit, a little bit of Steph Curry, some boxing shit. Mainly Lakers shit. Cole. I met Cole. I met Michael Cooper. I met Magic before. I met Shaq numerous of times. Shaq got a house about 3 miles away from here. Um, so I'm a Laker through and through. But my fandom for the Lakers started to dissipate once Bron got there. Never been a LeBron fan. Um, just like people with different types, different fans. I ain't never been a LeBron fan, right? So, um, so I say that to say this: the Lakers have officially became, or become, or whatever be it goes with it, LeBron's bitch. The Lakers is LeBron's bitch, and all our Bron sexuals thinks that shit is cool, but y'all not really Laker fans. Bron sexuals ain't Laker fans. They Laker fans first, not Bron fans first. So check this out. Now I said this 2 weeks ago on I think one of my previous episodes. I said this 2 weeks ago, and Smitty would attest to this. So the Lake the Lakers lowball. I said the Lakers were going to lowball Danny Hurley, and that was going to give them the leeway, in the leagues, well, in fan in Laker Nation's eyes, that that was going to give them the leeway to hire JJ Redick. And first, say this, man, JJ Redick a beast, bro. He know the game like a mug. I'm not lying. I be listening to some of his shit. I be like, damn, I can learn some shit as a coach, and I have. But I coach at a college prep program. They got video of JJ Redick getting thrown out of his son's game. So, so you do a podcast during the season when you already ain't fucking with Darvin Ham, right? So during the playoff series against Denver, AD and Bron co-signed it that they weren't prepared. They didn't know, they weren't quite prepared and all this other shit. But here's the crazy part about that. That series was it was good games played. So that series took Jamal Murray, a fucking straight killer, especially in that pick and roll action. It took Jamal Murray hitting two buzzer beaters, one of them over AD. That two of those games came down to that. But I will tell you this though. While Eddie and Bron up there talking that bullshit about Darvin Ham and Phil Handy and the rest of them. Shout out Phil Handy. It's my dude. Love me some Phil Handy, man. Listen to him talk. I can learn all day, every day. But y'all, they shit on Bron. They shit on Darvin Ham. Go back and look at the series. Guess who didn't show up in four fourth quarters? Guess who didn't show up? AD. AD actually pulled the Bron from 2011. He was hooping like shit quarters 1 through 3. Quarter 4, he nowhere to be found. So I have a couple people coming to me and be like, oh, that's coaching, that's coaching, that's coaching, that's coaching. But I thought LeBron was a savant. Thought Bron had the highest IQ of anybody. So he can't say, man, scrap that. AD, get your ass back down there. We coming to you again. We coming to you again. We coming to you again. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. This true story. We in the region semifinal game a couple years ago. So I'm telling Coach Barry, they can't guard Niall King. Shout out Niall King going to Barry College. Left-hander, 6'5", blah, blah, blah. Not a good shooter, but got shimmu, shubu, will bang on you, got all the boop, blah, 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 right? So fourth quarter come, I realized that we got Country Wayne's son on our team who play college ball. He can shoot the lights out. We got my 2 little midgets on the team, Caleb Johnson and Chance Whitfield. They both playing college sports. So they little, but I got some dogs on my team. And Niall at that point wasn't really a dog, right? But I tell Coach Barry and Coach Jack, we going to Niall every time down floor. It wasn't no play call. It wasn't no, hey, we're going to get him on some action. It was none of that. It was, give it to him again. He scored. Maybe he didn't. Give it to him again. Then he got hot. Give it to him again. Give it to him again. To the point he look over and say, Coach, I need one. I said, need one of what? Because you ain't coming out the game, homie. You need one of what? You ain't coming out the game. He took us to the promised land. He was junior at the time. 6'5" junior, nice with it. But we had him playing in the post. He real slick with it on the post. But, you know, you getting bumped and bruised and dudes bigger than you. So my point was to say that is you didn't need coaching at that moment. JJ Redick wasn't going to do shit different. You needed AD to be a dog. And if your dogs don't be dogs when dogs are needed to be dogs, they not dogs. Any hoop coach, NBA player, whoever will tell you, nigga, you ain't no dog if you don't come through and I need you to bite. That's real talk. Chance Whitfield, straight dog. Tony Coley, straight dog. Caleb Johnson, straight dog. Niall King, Chase Williamson, all were dogs. They all played for me. And each one of them playing college ball. But we kept going to Niall. So you didn't need coaching at that time, which means if you would have did your job, AD, that series could be different and we could be having a different discussion right now. And even with that said, it still was a fucking podcast going on about coaching in different sets during the season from your best player and an inspiring coach. What are we doing? Why couldn't you be meeting? You should have been, if you wanted to get into it that much, why weren't you meeting with your coaching staff? You had enough cachet to say, hey, fellas, hey, Coach Handy, Coach Ham, I think we should do this, we should do that. You, Bron, you earned that right. You earned that right. So moving forward, they had this podcast when they know Darvin Ham was on the hot seat because of them. They didn't want, he was on a hot, they needed a scapegoat. So they gave it was Darvin Ham and Phil Handy and those boys. It was them. It was their fault. So then they turn around and they have this podcast. And so now moving forward, they came out the blue and said they want to interview Danny Hurley. So they interview Hurley and they lowball him. Come on, man. They lowball him, giving him about 12, 13, what was it, $11 million or something. 6 years, $70 million. So about $11 million a year, 11 and a half. When the highest paid coach in the NBA is 17.5. And my man coming off of 2 national championships. Everybody think he's the best coach in college basketball. So you lowball him. Turn around and interview JJ Redick. No, bring him in for a conversation because the interview was happening during the podcast. Because he was interviewing with the boss, with the one that's going to actually make that decision. And on a side note, I read somewhere today that Bron said that AD wanted JJ Redick more than he did. AD had more to do with it than he did. Man, who the fuck y'all think? Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm a hoop head. Stop with the bullshit, bro. Come on, bro. Stop with the bullshit, bro. So then they bring in JJ Redick and they give him $8 bills a year. $8 million a year for JJ Redick, who's never coached anywhere of significance before. JJ Redick played at a way higher level than me. He ain't coached at one. So then they come out with this bullshit about how they always wanted an analytical person with the that played and this, that, and the other and whoop. So if you brought Danny Hurley in, you thought he was the analytical person. He played at Seton Hall. Maybe he wasn't as good as JJ Redick, but his brother was a 2-time national champion. His dad was one of the greatest high school coaches of all time. The experience is about equal. You consider all that, especially when you're going in to be a coach and not a player, right? So then they bring in Danny Hurley and they lowball him. Then they put out this thing, said it's gonna be a significant offer they're gonna be offering Danny Hurley, and they put him at like 6 in the NBA, and that's not how it works. Especially when you got the cachet that Danny Hurley has. Then so now you got the coach you want. So that's the Lakers is Bron bitch part 1. Here's the Lakers is Bron bitch part 2. Have you guys, for my hoop heads, can you remember a time when a kid averaged 4.2 He's 6'1" and some change. He averaged 4.2 coming out of college. Not to mention he had a heart attack around this time last year. Shout out to Bronny for recovering from that. Good shit, young man. I love the way he go about himself. I will say Bron raising the shit out them boys and Lil Mama, but shout out to Bronny. But he averaged 4.2, and he can his agent can come out and say, we're only working out with these 2 teams, and we're not accepting a 2-way contract. Then he said, well, if we was using LeBron signing as leverage, we would have made it known that either take Bronny with the 55th pick, or we're going somewhere else. That statement was made by Rich Paul. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. You just did that by saying that. So I remember going back about 6 months ago, Jeannie Buss said LeBron is her number one priority. She's going to do anything to keep him happy. So they lowballed the shit out of Danny Hurley. And what they did was, this is why they lowballed him. The governor of Connecticut came out and said they was going to give him a significant raise. That means we're going to match unless it was something crazy. So you want him to uproot his family. If he got kids, uproot his kids to Connecticut. Cost of living, it's okay. LA, cost of living, shit. Not to mention the taxes are doubled. So they knew exactly what they was doing by giving him that shitty offer. Knew exactly what they was doing by giving him that shitty offer. So where can you go where you can dictate, you're gonna hold off, you can dictate where your son goes and how the organization treat that situation. Think about this with the JJ Redick thing. Did you guys hear about JJ Redick interviewing anywhere else? Because I damn sure didn't. And I'm retired, so I watch sports talk on my phone and shit all day. But I damn sure didn't. I didn't hear about him being interested in any other jobs. So if this dude was this much of a hot commodity and all this other stuff, why weren't other teams going after him? Why not Detroit? Not to say he would have went there, but with them young dudes up there, that's probably exactly what they need. But you wanted Danny Hurley to come to a team to give up all of that. So you got the Connecticut cost of living and the LA cost of living. You wanted him to uproot his family and do all that with a lowballed amount, with the taxes are being doubled. Who would have took that offer? That shit was all in the works. And then you give JJ Redick $8 million a year on a 4-year deal, and that's probably a little high. Now JJ Redick had all the fucking leverage. Because he knows what the deal is. So you gotta sweeten the pot. You can't come into him with $5 or $6 million a year, because he know the whole shit was set up. So he know that he can get a way above market average for himself. So you got the JJ Redick situation. You got the Bronny situation. Number 3, but not as relevant. 2 years ago, they made the big splash at the trade deadline. So Cam Reddish didn't play that much this year. Gabe Vincent, I don't even know if he had a fucking locker. The Woods kid and the Vanderbilt dude. All 4 of them didn't play. But it was Darvin Ham's fault. So now they're gonna go out and they're gonna improve the roster. JJ Redick gonna have a little bit more success, and now JJ Redick and Bron gonna be, what's the word I want? They're gonna be praised for the podcast, and it led to this, and it led to that, and this, that, and the other. But Darvin Ham and Phil Handy and those guys had such a shitty roster, or they was dealt with major injuries. But it was their fault. But it was their fault that AD didn't do what he was supposed to do in the fourth quarter of the Denver Nuggets series. Now, this past year, he was upset that they didn't make moves at the trade deadline. Everything is about what this dude wants, to the point Jeannie Buss, Kurt Rambis, or whoever else in that fucking front office, Rob Pelinka, who to me should be fired because he didn't make the Bron deal. Magic did that. Everybody knew where AD wanted to go. He made it perfectly fucking known. So what has Rob Pelinka really fucking done? So those are the reasons that the Lakers organization has become Bron's bitch. And it will be for a while. Don't forget, Bryce is up next. You never know. Shit. Bron may say, hey, y'all got to draft Bryce now. Or I'm gonna take Bronny, and nobody ain't gonna want to support y'all because of the way y'all did this Laker great. Shameful, man. To me, in the end, in summary, for all my Lakerologists, Laker Nation, my man Matt, Tyra, Jamal Brooks, my man Poop, the Donald, and all my son, AJ, Tony, my oldest daughter. To me, is a real bad day in Laker Nation. I'm that boy they call Big Tone. Thank y'all for listening to this episode of Tony Rants, I guess. I'll put this on the YouTube page as well. On one half of the Chronic OGs podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm out.